Hey, Ashley. So we're here at Ground Zero Memorial Park. I don't know, we saw a couple of Bylaw vehicles, and they just took off, and they seem to be circling the block.
I think they're recording.
Yes.
Yes, I saw the phone up when they were passing by.
Yes. You know, it's interesting. I know they threatened the people handing out the items with a ticket. I wonder if they would actually have the chutzpah to give you a ticket for accepting an item, or maybe they haven't written that bylaw yet.
Maybe they actually haven't lived this life either. It kind of changes your perspective, but I think it's pretty heartless if they, as you said, this close to Christmas. People are definitely needing the assistance, and if the people are in a position to help, by all means, it should be fair game.
What do you make of this Grinch-like attitude so close to Christmas time?
You know what? That's what they're feeding on, and they want us to give up, and they want us to back down, but we're not backing down. We're freedom fighters. We are standing for this country. We want this country back.
I think you guys being here and all the support kind of made them on their best behavior at the moment.
David Menzies for Rebel News here at the Rise Up Church in Oshawa, Ontario. And you know, folks, the slogan for the city of Oshawa is "Prepare to be amazed," except that it would appear that the amazement is for all the wrong reasons. Case in point, there is a group of volunteers here. They're called the Communities for Freedom, and they're planning today to distribute clothes, food, toiletries to the homeless people that reside at Oshawa's Memorial Park. That's a good thing, isn't it? Except maybe not in the eyes of some people. If you can imagine, the city got wind of this, and Bylaw has informed this group that if they do so, they are going to receive tickets. Well, I'm with Ashley Wickett. She's the organizer of this campaign. And Ashley, correct me if I'm wrong, it appears that in the city of Oshawa, if you're a good Samaritan, you're going to be penalized. What's going on here?
Absolutely. I don't know. I just wanted to get together with my community and do something right, rebuild, help out.
And when you were dealing with the city or the Bylaw department, did they say why this is a bad thing, helping out people with food, clothing, toiletries who are in very dire circumstances?
They didn't give a reason, no.
What do you think is the unspoken reason? Because I, for the life of me, I can't figure out why this is something that has to be stopped and even ticketed with fines.
I asked myself the same question. I wonder if it comes down to profit.
Oh, in other words, because there was a mention by the city that you have to have a permit.
Yes.
So you have to have a permit to be a good Samaritan in Oshawa, Ontario. And I guess you have to pay for the permit. Mm-hmm. So the city is protecting its turf, in other words? They want to profit from your charity work?
Yeah, absolutely. And I look at it like that money could go towards helping another person in need.
Well, folks, I'm with Ray Bond. He is the founder of Durham Dignity for the Homeless. And Ray, you've had your run-ins with the city when it comes to charitable giveaways of food for those in need. What's your story?
The first day of the pandemic, when all the agencies closed down, waiting for the province to release a list of exemptions, we kind of figured that, food insecurity would be high on the priority list, probably not something that's going to be continuously banned throughout the pandemic. So we created our own volunteer structure, and we started providing meals right at the first day of the pandemic when all the other agencies banned in the community.
And what's wrong with that?
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. They didn't say anything at first because they needed us. But once we built up to over 100 volunteers and donors and put thousands of dollars of our own money into it, then they sent the bylaw in when all the other agencies got their bearings together and the funding came in and they got all set up, and then we had to go.
You were saying that, okay, you won't go into the park on foot. You'll just drive up to the park boundary and hand these, the food, the clothing to the homeless. And they said, no, not so fast. That's against the Highway Traffic Act?
Yes, that's exactly. And that was the plan in the first place. The park was just a meetup spot. I understand we can't, put up tables and tarps and all this stuff and have a whole event with speakers and stuff without a permit. I understand that, but we were just trying to do it right out of our vehicles and, just be there for an hour or two, helping them out, and that's it. But
is part of the reason here that this group that is about to leave in just a few minutes to Memorial Park, they've got that word freedom in their name, and in some circles, freedom is the new F-bomb, inexplicably. Is that what's driving this? They see these as, people who are pro-freedom trucker convoy, and of course, these are Canada's deplorables when you ask certain people.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me, Dave. Yeah. I mean, with these guys, it seems like they change their answer every time it's convenient for them. I mean, at first it was a problem because maybe our food wouldn't be safe to, for a private agency to distribute 120 meals a day. So we went and got the health inspector. Right. They said, hey, you needed insurance. Okay, we'll go get insurance. Need a permit. Okay, we'll get an insurance. Now, all of a sudden, nobody should be able to do it unless you go get your nonprofit incorporation. And I'm thinking to myself, well, eventually I'm just going to be as expensive and inefficient as you are if I follow your footsteps.
Right now, it's just past 2:30 p.m. You're here at this church. You're organizing hampers with clothing, food, toiletries, etc. You're going to go to Memorial Park very soon. You're not going to be bullied. You're not going to bend the knee. And I understand there's already bylaw there waiting for you?
Yeah, actually, a friend of mine said there's 2 bylaw officers there already.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And let me get this straight. Is there absolutely no crime in the city of Oshawa right now that bylaw has to stake out a park to ticket Good Samaritans?
That's what I say. They have nothing better to do. Nothing better to do.
And look at the timing. We're a week away from Christmas.
Yeah.
This is all about the season of giving.
Yeah.
And they're going to give you something. They're going to give you tickets.
I think they're going to be a little weary with you around, Dave. I think they may not. Okay. I have a feeling we're going to see the same bylaw supervisor who tends to liaise with these sorts of things. And they keep it all with one person, and that way they can manage it.
Well, it's not as though it's unprecedented. Our, friend Artur Pawlowski in Calgary, he's been fined for giving to the homeless. It seems that virus is spreading. I hope you don't get a ticket. I hope sanity prevails, Ashley, and that you're able to, like I said, help people in need.
Absolutely. I heard about what's happening in Calgary, and it's so sad. Yeah. It's just really sad that we can't just come together and rebuild and help.
Well, folks, I think it is sad. It is inexplicable. We're hanging around. We're going to come to the park with this group. And I guess seeing is believing. I think it is absolutely outrageous. But you heard from Ashley, there's already a couple of bylaw officers laying in wait. Let's see what happens in the minutes ahead. Well, folks, we are here at Oshawa's Memorial Park, and as you can see behind me, there is a bylaw officer in a van. There was also another bylaw officer in a pickup truck, but as soon as we got out of our vehicles, he just buggered off. I guess he doesn't want the publicity, or maybe he's going for backup, who knows. But the people, the volunteers that want to distribute the clothing and food and toiletries to the homeless, they have set up at the corner here. And I guess we're just going to observe and see what happens. Well, here we are, folks, and I couldn't help but notice that fellow. I don't know if it was the same fellow who left when we came, but it was another bylaw officer in a pickup truck, and he drove by filming this group. I guess he was capturing an egregious crime on camera, but the funny thing is that he was operating the motor vehicle while filming. Now, I know police have an exemption to that law, but I wonder if bylaw does too. If they don't, well, another example, isn't it, of one law for thee, one law for me.
Did you get that? He had his phone in his hand as he was driving the vehicle.
Well, folks, I'm with Catherine, and she is one of the recipients of aid here. And Catherine, what do you make of the fact that the city of Oshawa warned the people handing out the food and the clothing, etc., that they were in violation of a bylaw and would face charges? What do you make of that?
It's an utterly ridiculous bylaw infraction. I think people should have the freedom to help each other if they want. And quite frankly, a lot of us need it.
And you know
I
this,
appreciate it.
and you know this close to Christmas, I just can't believe that giving things to people in need is a crime in the city. What's going on?
Right. You wouldn't want me for to be taking over because I would rearrange the whole system.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's wrong wholeheartedly.
Well, folks, I'm with Alexandra, and we had a little discussion off camera, and I thought it was worthy to repeat it. Essentially, Alexandra, our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, he refers to the folks here as the fringe minority.
Yeah,
it's
unacceptable views.
Yes, unacceptable views.
and-
It didn't quite go basket full of deplorables, but you made a good point. Right now, Prime Minister Trudeau is flying around the world giving away hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Not his money, of course, our money, taxpayer money. And yet, here, domestically, there are people in need. What do you make of this?
Well, you know what? Like, he should be giving that money to these people. This is his fellow Canadians, citizens of this country. They need help. Why are you giving it to something else? Why are you promoting something else? You should be making the shelters for these people to help them to get a job or get somewhere. Like, Christmas is coming. And now the enforcement is after us because supposedly we're doing the crime. Yeah. Since when is a crime to feed somebody? Since when is the crime to do something good? And appreciate what we have because they don't have it.
Well, folks, I'm with Mandy Dalton. She's handing out these great bags of chips and turkey sandwiches and whatnot. And Mandy told me an incredible story. She was at this park back in the summer of this year. She was handing out food to people in need. Bylaw came by, and they said to you, you don't have to worry about anything. We're not going to ticket you, but it was a bit of a trick, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was my son's group. It was a freedom group, and he shifted it over into doing a bit more charity work. So we advertised, and we had both received, both me and him, emails from the city stating that we needed a permit. So we both emailed back, well, this is a protest in the fact that you need a permit to just give your own stuff to anyone.
So in the city of Oshawa, you need a permit to get. In a week from now, it's going to be Christmas. Does Santa Claus need a permit to get?
Right. And then so we got here after that, and there was a couple bylaw officers here. They said, we don't want to fine you. We had wagons. We were prepared to put everything on a wagon and do a slow roll around the block so we wouldn't be stationary. No, you can set up at the corner there, they said, on the grass, and then they mailed them a $250 ticket.
Hey, Ashley. So we're here at Ground Zero Memorial Park. I don't know, we saw a couple of bylaw vehicles, and they just took off, and they seem to be circling the block.
I think they're recording.
Yes?
Yes, I saw the phone up when they were passing by. Yes. There's another group here today.
Oh, okay.
That's doing the same thing. I asked.
Wow.
They have no permit,
Jeez.
Wow.
Good Samaritanship is breaking out all over Oshawa. It's a pandemic. All these people being nice to people in need. But I wonder, do you think the fact that we're here has made them, temper their behavior? They can only look bad handing out tickets to volunteers. Or, you said they were taking pictures. We saw that too. There's something called an AMPS ticket where they send it to you in the mail. You can't challenge it, believe it or not. That survived the Supreme Court challenge in 2016. So I wonder in the days and weeks ahead if we're all going to have a nasty little gift in the mail.
I'm wondering the same thing too, and I think you're right. I think you guys being here and all the support kind of made them on their best behavior at the moment.
Yeah. Sunshine is the best kind of disinfectant, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. Well, I know you got lots of hampers to hand out, Ashley, so I'll get out of your hair, and
Thank you so
good luck.
Much. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my God, wait till the city fathers here in Oshawa get a look at this. There are people handing out food and pairs of socks and mittens and toiletries. It's an epidemic, I tell you, of bylaw infractions. And speaking of bylaw, they seem to be gone for good. Well, I wouldn't bet on that. They might come back. So we're going to watch this peaceful handing out of items to people in need. Can't even believe this is against the bylaw in Oshawa, but it is. Hopefully nobody is going to get a ticket for this. You know, it's interesting. I know they threatened the people handing out the items with a ticket. I wonder if they would actually have the chutzpah to give you a ticket for accepting an item, or maybe they haven't written that bylaw yet.
Maybe they actually haven't lived this life either. It kind of changes your perspective, but I think it's pretty heartless if they, as you said, this close to Christmas. People are definitely needing the assistance, and if the people are in a position to help, by all means, it should be fair game.
I'm so sorry what you're going through. I wish you a Merry Christmas. I hope things get better in the new year for you, and you take care, my friend.
Chin up, right? Thank you, guys. Take care.
What do you make of this Grinch-like attitude so close to Christmas time?
You know what? That's what they're feeding on. And they want us to give up. And they want us to back down. But we're not backing down. We're freedom fighters. We are standing for this country. We want this country back. I came to this country 25 years ago. A lot of us immigrants came to this country like to have a better life. But now what's happening here, it's like, it's unbelievable.
And from where did you come from?
I was born in Croatia, and I'm Serbian, and I experienced the war and like communism and fascism, and a lot of us immigrants did that. So we came here to have a better life, to live freely. Well, Canada is no longer a free country anymore. Like, we don't have a freedom. Everywhere we go, we have to look behind our back. We're not terrorists, how they call us. We're not making any issues or problems. We're not violent. Truck convoy, we were peaceful protesters. We just want our fancy socks to listen to us. But he didn't.
I said, so we're not getting a fine? He goes, no, not today. I assumed it meant if we continued to do it weekly, monthly, whatnot, we would get a fine.
Right.
But he meant, no, it would be mailed to you. And it was mailed to my 24-year-old son because it was his group.
Wow.
Yeah.
Christ is born in Bethlehem. And the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
Well, folks, as darkness begins to take lease, the event is wrapping up. Bylaw, which fled about an hour ago, never did return to the so-called scene of the crime. Right now, we have some people singing Christmas carols. I wonder if that's in violation of Oshawa's noise bylaw. Who knows? So the question arises, what happened? Bylaw was here waiting for these people to come. Was it the fact that, well, an independent media outlet, i.e. Rebel News, was here to record what would have been an egregious action, I think, and that's what made them go away? They just didn't want to be part of what would be a public relations disaster for this city, especially so close to Christmas. Or maybe these bylaw officers, much like the titular character in The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, maybe they had a heart growth spurt. Maybe they realized that a bunch of volunteers giving food and clothing to people down on their luck, well, that ain't such a bad thing after all, is it? For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Well, folks, as you can see, mainstream media, they're sitting out this event. Nothing to see here, of course. Actually, they're probably on the side of bylaw enforcement. You know we love to bring you the other side of the story, but we need your help. Please, if you can, go to rebelfieldreports.com. That's rebelfieldreports.com, and kick in $1 or $3 so that we can bring you the kind of journalism you depend on.